that's kind of where we're at. This is what brought us to this, the tale of Monster that brings us to today, when we're going to be able to actually play this game. Now, before we do that, I'm gonna hop into the voice chat over in my Discord, and I'm gonna bring on Hayama, and I want them to talk a little bit about their experience being a beta tester for Monster. But they had some attention, like had some talk with Hayama Immortal throughout this time, so maybe we can get a little bit more insight into what's going on. Oh, hello.
Hello, man.
How you doing?
Fine, fine. Well, first of all, I would try to do my best because English is not my language, but here I am. Here I am.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming on and talking a little bit about this.
Yeah. In fact, I'm kind of surprised that the game is receiving this. I don't know if I can say this is a revival of interest in Monster, but yeah, like a week ago, Epsilon Eagle told me, did you know that someone found a Monster Ancient Cline beta? And I was like, what? Really? And I saw the link and it was true. So cool. Really cool that we finally can play it again.
Absolutely. Because, yeah, the original Monster is a super beautiful, super interesting game. And it's always a shame to know that, like, Ancient Cline it was being worked on for years before just kind of disappearing into the ether, right? And it always sucks to see a game just kind of die like that. And at least now we get to, like, play it ourselves and see what it was all about and see where it might have gone. No, Guardian, this is not the dev. This is Hayama. For those who don't know, yes, also welcome to Hayama here on stream, known as the Burtman in chat. They were a beta tester for Ancient Cline 10 years ago now at this point. So Hayama, I would love for you to just tell us a bit about, like, how you came to be a beta tester for the game and what that was like.
First of all, I want to say that at that time I was really into doujin fighting games. That was a time that I played Akatsuki Blitzcamp, and Big Man Beat, and Melty Blood, and games like that. And for me, it was like one of my favorite moments in fighting game history because it was that time that, well, I know that in the United States and in Canada, there is this idea that we were living a dark age of fighting games, but
yeah,
that's not what I think it's true, because here in Latin America, well, I'm from Chile, by the way, and here in Latin America, everybody was crazy with KOF 2002, so for us, it was not a dark age at all, but it was true that we were receiving much less fighting games, so the doujin scene for me was like a revelation, was like, you can do this game, this quality is so good, and there was like 2 or 3 people making it. This is fantastic. This is amazing for me. When Multiblock was released, it was like a Naomi type of fighting game. The quality was so high, so for me, I was really into that. And because of that, I was covering fighting game news at that time on a site that is called Gamer Café in Spanish, and I covered all the news about doujin fighting games and indie fighting games at that time. So I was there covering those news.
You were in the thick of it.
Yeah, and I found Monster at that time. In fact, I was searching for the news, and I have some links. Okay, so this was the first time that I covered Monster. It was in 2006. It is in Spanish, of course, but I covered the game.
Here we go. Yeah, December 15th, 2006.
Yeah, I covered the release of Monster. At that time, I know that there was a demo. In fact, there is a link to the demo on Red in the news. That's me. This is Hayama. That's me. So at that time, I was kind of curious about it because it has this pre-rendered 3D graphics work. It looked kind of really interesting, but also it has this, furry elements that people were like, oh, I don't know if I want to play this and all that stuff. But
yeah,
for me, it was okay. I'm fine with that. And when the game was released, well, I'm from Latin America, so I need to say this. We pirate it. Greetings to Japan. I'm sorry, but that was their situation at that moment. And I love it. I think that the game was amazing. It has a lot of cool ideas. The music is fantastic. It's the
fantastic.
best thing for me. for me, it's the best thing about the game. Sorry, but the music is amazing, and I like it, and I played a lot. And at that time, there was the Shoryuken forums that probably a lot of people from English-speaking worlds remembered because
Yep.
it was.
That's where
It was
most of us hung out.
Yeah, it was one of the best places for niche and doing and small fighting game circles to chat and play and all that. And I was there. In fact, I was the mod for Vanguard Princess talk in
Oh, okay.
Shuriken at that time too. So I was like, yeah, there's this game and I like it. I upload some videos and people were like, oh, people are playing this game for real, because one thing is playing and another thing is uploading fight on YouTube. It was oh, people are really playing this. and some people from Shuriken was like, oh, let's play, man, but sadly I was in Chile, so you could imagine that the online was working like crap.
Oh yeah, that connection was not going to be good.
No, not at all. At some point, I Immortal talked to me. As you said, I Immortal was heavily into doujin games. His nickname is from Hinokakera.
Yeah. Which totally explains, because I was like, why do I know this name? And I couldn't place it, right? And I'm like, nope, that's it. It's a Hinokakera boss. All right.
And he was like, this game is really cool. And I talked with the dev. At that time, I didn't know that his name was Shock. That's the name of the developer.
Yeah.
I contact with the developer, and he was really kind, and we have an exchange of ideas and all that. I was, oh, cool. That's nice.
Yeah.
And months later, Shock announced that he was going to upgrade the game with 6 more characters.
Yeah.
6 more. I was like, 6 more? That's a really big update. In fact, he told Titrings, 6 characters, that the game was gonna be free to play. I clearly remember that before it was the arcade version announced, he was saying, I'm going to make this game free to play, and I'm going to make history mode on the game. In fact, I was searching for this because I was remembered this, and he showed a clip of the history mode, and he was making these FMV clips of the history mode. Yeah, he was making this history mode. I was kind of ambitious. Then the arcade version was announced. I was really surprised. At that time, I was really happy because it was this moment of seeing doujin games come to commercial arcade releases. It was not only Monster, it was also Akatsuki that has his arcade version that is amazing. And I still want a Steam release of that. Please. I know this is gonna sound kind of weird, but there was a lot of canceled doujin games that they were never released. On that case, I remember that there was this game called Nitro Royale that it was going to be released. 2 on arcade was never released. Well, anyway, the thing is that it's from a long time ago.
Long time ago.
Yeah. I don't remember the situation, but I was in Skype at that moment, and Aya told me, hey man, I'm working on Ancient Cline. Oh, really? That's cool. So do you want to be a beta tester? Because I know that you played the game, because you have your YouTube matches, and they are very good. Your level is kind of really cool, and your friends too, because I have a circle of friends that you already know, because everybody was on my chat that day when you were in my streaming. All of them played Monster at that time. All of them.
Beautiful.
And it was like, okay, yeah, sure, of course. Well, first of all, being a beta tester for an arcade release in Japan as a Chilean was like, of course I want to be part of that.
Right? That's
course.
amazing.
That's amazing, man. Yeah, let's do it. And okay, I send you the link, and you will be you will make a report of what you found of the beta every week, or even like 3 days or something like that.
Okay.
And I was okay, fine. And he sent me the link, and I played it, and I was shocked, not pun intended, playing the beta version.
So that beta version that you first played, it was destined. That was the Examu version, right?
It was the Examu version, yes, with that new bars, like that fire thing bars, like.
Yeah. I think it's the one that I have up on screen here now, right?
I'm not 100% sure if it's exactly the same game that was, leaked last week.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, this one doesn't have the credit counter on it, so it might be slightly newer. This is what I'm hoping to be able to try to find some. I want to see like what the process was, right? If we can track down some of what were the different versions like as it went forward.
Yeah, I played, and I was really happy about that. But I must say that I played a lot of the original Monster game, and I will be honest with this, I didn't like too much what the Ancient Cline version was doing. Honestly, it was much slower. The combo system was really less inspiring, I think, because in the original game. There's this freedom, especially in the air, for combos, and it was not present on the Ancient Cline version. I was like, I got these combos, and I do some videos for I Immortal, but I don't know, man. I think I like the original game a little better.
I will say that, I feel like the original Monster had much more distinct shift modes. So there's three grooves in the game, basically, for those of you who don't know. Monster, what are the other two?
Freedom, and the green one.
And the green one, Tranquility. That's what it is. Right, and they all do slightly different things, but they felt much more distinct in the original version than they do in Ancient Cline. And I could never tell if that was Aya's new direction for the system, or if it was just a reflection of it being early in the development, right?
Okay. Here's the thing. I honestly don't know exactly what Aya did on the game. I know that he was in contact with Shock, and he got the beta because of that. But honestly, I don't know how much he works on the system of the game. For me, it was kind of sleazy. I don't want to say that it was doing something wrong or something like that, but I always had this idea, and I could be wrong, that his so-called beta test for Shuriken Forums was more like please don't tell anyone at Examu that I'm doing this.
Interesting. So yeah, you felt that because Aya definitely says that he got all of the rights to the game from Shock.
But that was past that. After that.
Okay. Oh, okay. So yeah. Okay. So you're saying
sorry.
Okay, so you're saying that before he got the rights, he was just working with Shock, but was doing this on the side.
When I played the beta, the arcade version was still on development. It was not canceled. Yeah, and I was really happy, but it was like, I'm playing a beta version of a Japanese only release. This is weird for me. I'm not saying that it was something. No, he break a contract with Examu or Shock. I don't know, but it was weird for me, and it was weird for everybody involved in the beta. It was like, is this really legal? I don't know, but we are doing it anyway. And
it's one of those strange things that when you're one step removed from the actual developer of the game, it's hard to tell how close to Shock's wishes was Aya actually, right? It's really hard to tell. And it could just be that Aya was like, no, they got permission to do this. Shock said, get it beta tested, get some feedback, and this is how they went about it, and that was totally fine and legit. But it's really hard to tell, and so, I mean, worth noting at least that you had some kind of weird vibes about it, right?
Yeah, if you go to the official website of Monster and the official Ancient Cline website by Examu that exists, I clearly remember that site, there was no information about a beta testing or people around the world testing the game. No, there was zero information. Everything was I Immortal contacting us on Skype doing this.
Interesting. Okay, you're right. And if you do some digging, there are interviews with Shock talking about doing location tests at TRF in Japan, right?
Yeah.
So
in Japan, he did.
they worked with Game Center to run like location tests on several occasions, as far as I'm aware. And so
Yes.
and that was public knowledge. So it's not that they weren't talking about beta testing and location testing. It's just that they didn't talk about any of the Westerners doing it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, this is interesting.
It was always a weird experience for me. I'm not saying that it was 100% illegal and he was doing something really wrong. No, he was, as far as I know, nobody in Japan knew it.
Yeah, but yeah.
That was the beta test, the test for me, and I played. It was fun, but I do my request, like, can you fix that? Can you change that? There are some things that I really don't like. There are some things that I like. And he was like, yeah, sure. Yeah, for sure. But the thing is that he never really changed anything. It was that beta and that's it. I never saw a really proper update of that beta.
Interesting.
And,
all right.
The time passes and the game was cancelled.
Yeah.
I was sad about it because the game looks cool. I really love Monster, and for me the game was cancelled not because Shock was offered this work at Arc System Works. In fact, I knew that at that time. I had a news on my site on Gamer Cafe talking about that.
Oh, okay.
But I heard that later, that he was supposedly working on Arc System Works. But what I hear in Japanese source, that sadly I don't have, and I will be responsible for this, is that Examu was kind of a bad company to work in.
Yeah, they were not a great partner, right?
Yeah. And Shock was basically escaping to work with Examu. And I was like, oh, well, that's too bad. Also, I want to say that the X board, the Examu board, it was really successful with Arcana Heart 2, and they were like really ambitious about it. They want the X board to be the next Neo Geo. It was like, oh, we're gonna release all those games, and we're gonna support the indie and doujin scene, and we're gonna do this really amazing work with it. And sadly, Arcana Heart 3 was not like a bad game at all. In fact, I love Arcana Heart 3, but it did have the same reception as Arcana Heart
as
2
yeah.
in Japan. Because in Japan, Arcana Heart, this is kind of hard to believe for some people, but Arcana Heart 2 was extremely successful in Japan. In fact, there was a time that it was making more money than Guilty Gear on arcades.
Yeah, no, I heard it would do very well financially, but that Arcana Heart 3 did not capture the same kind of mind share.
Yeah, so they were like jumping the boat, like, we are going to cancel all this, and Monster was more like a victim of that.
Yeah, and that's probably fair, right? I mean, from the timeline that I've seen, it was if Shock wasn't happy with the partnership in 2010 or whatever the case was, and saw kind of the writing on the wall with what was going on, then waiting out that partnership and being like and escaping to Arc System Works kind of makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Also, Taito released the Taito Tape X board, and everybody was jumping to that. It was like, this is much easy to do. Well, not exactly. It was more like a Taito was much bigger than Examu.
Much bigger,
so
and apparently
much bigger, and they have the support for Capcom and companies like that, and they released Nessica Live, and everybody jumped into that, and
even Examu now they release games on Nessica Live, so
even Examu,
right? So they've given up on their own hardware. Like I mentioned it earlier on, there's a very strong parallel to the Exa Arcadia, which is currently being worked on as its own. It's going to be the next Neo Geo. It's doing Indian Dojin games and fighting games, right? It's doing all those things that Examu was doing in 2012. And weren't able to sustain, right? And so I think it actually kind of raises some important questions about what Exa Arcadia is doing and what their future plans are.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, well, that's amazing. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing a bit of your history with that and giving us some insight into what it was like working with with Aya and some of the people associated with 8105 graphics. Yeah, I love being able to dig into some of this history and share it with people. And it's history that, like I said, we thought it was lost, but it was right there in front of us all along. So
yeah. I want to just add one more thing. I played the beta and all that, and when, for some stupid reasons that I hate myself, I lost that copy. I lost in a hard drive crash.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's okay, it's fine. I will find it elsewhere we go. A lot of people played it too. And I was, with that circle of Shoryuken forum players, I was talking to them, and it was like, no, I don't have it too.
Don't have it anymore, right? And this is it, everyone. I've been trying to make a point of this as I get new versions of these indie fighting games. I try to archive the old ones because everyone says to themselves, "I'll just delete it. Someone else will keep it," and then everyone deletes it, right?
Yes.
So it's not hard to put a little 100 megabyte zip file on an archive somewhere, and who knows when that's going to become important down the road.
Yeah. And I want to say that, of course, at that time, I will not do that because I had the trust of I Immortal to keep it a secret and all that. But at time pass, at the moment, at the time.
Yeah. Well, because at this point, it's been, 8 years, I think, since Aya has officially spoken about the game, as far as I can tell.
Yes.
So, you're reaching abandonware territory here, right? And this is the time for archaeologists, for internet sleuths to start bringing this stuff up.
Yeah, but for me, it was because I started to think that Aya was doing things and I'm not really too fond of it. First, I remember that 2 or 3 years later, he was like, no, I have the right of the game. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do my Monster Ancient Cline. And I'm going to release for free. And I will put rollback. And it will be on Steam. And everybody will going to play it. And I was like, okay, fine, do it. And time passed. And no news. I was in the Monster Discord because they got one.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, any news? No. Any news? No. I was totally silent. And time passed and people was like, did he really got the rights? Like,
right?
Or maybe he did it, but the thing is, but for me, I will say this, I will be responsible for this, but the monster situation reminds me a little to the Vanguard Princess situation, that it was supposedly by the American company called Eigo Manga. And released on Steam, and it's a piece of crap version. do not buy the Eigo Manga version. It's a scam because the game is still for free. They do some changes that nobody plays because they're crap. And if you go to Mizumi and places like that, they will tell you exactly the same. Do not play the Eigo Manga version. For me, the worst thing about that is that they told that they supposedly got the rights from the creator of Vanguard Princess because his stone was destroyed in the earthquake in Japan, and he wanted the got money from Vanguard Princess to reconstruct his town, and we never ever found a single note about that from Japanese source. No one.
Yeah. This is one of the I talk a lot about wanting to bridge the gap between Western communities and companies even, right? Like, what would it take for a Western fighting game developer to get published on the XR Arcadia? But then we have situations like this where when you only have one person as a go-between, you start you start having to question some of these things because you're just taking it on faith that this person has the rights that they say they do, has the influence and the ability to do the things that they say they do. It's really hard when you only have one gatekeeper between those communities.
Yeah. Well, and that's it. I hope Haya is fine. No, nothing wrong with him. But I just wanted the monster situation to be more transparent, to be more. Yeah. Just
and I appreciate that. Like I said, I'm not trying to cast aspersions on anyone, right?
No.
For me, it's that there are so many open questions that I would just love to talk to more people involved. I would love to be able to hear from Shock and say, what were your thoughts on this? Why did you have to leave the project? What would you have done differently? Those kind of questions, I think, would answer a lot of the lingering doubts, right?
You know what? I think I have a solution for that. I have it. The thing is that Monster was made by Shock, but two designs are not made by him. The Morrigan type character.
Oh yeah, Shilly Winter.
She was not made by him.
Oh.
He has a guest doing it, and I think another character too. I think it was Alexander. Well, the thing is that I was researching that some years ago, and I found that the girl that do the voice acting from this character, he still has her website on it. Is it still up?
It's still up.
So it's still up. I would try to find it. So maybe
that would be interesting.
Someone can say, "Hey, we know that you're working on Monster. Can you tell us about it?"
That would be that's a really good point. There are several voice actors who worked on the game. Though just as voice actors, they might have some information or some contact or some insight there. That's a good point. Yeah. Okay. That's one way to do it. One of the animators, one of the voice actors. Yeah. Well, I guess we have some more internet sleuthing to do then.
Yeah.
Hayama, thank you very much for coming in and sharing this. I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, have fun. It's always a pleasure to talk with you and enjoy Monster. It's an amazing game. And greetings to the chat.
Absolutely. Thank you, man. All right, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to take a little bit of a break, grab a drink, and then I'm going to come back and play some Monster.
Yeah, we'll see you because I'm interested in your combos, man.
Excellent. All right. Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.